I was 13 years old. A classmate of mine, who I didn't know very well, killed himself. And I remember thinking that whole week that we were out of school, that once we returned to school, that there would be some clarity, that our community would kind of rally around that. Talk about what happened, why did it happen, how do we make sense of it? And it was exactly the opposite. There was a very curt message on the loudspeaker that we had suffered a loss. If any of us wanted to go to the guidance counselor, to talk about it, we could, but it was sort of putting the onus on us. And then I remember every teacher at the start of every class saying, we've suffered a loss. They never used the word suicide. They just kind of used what felt very much like recited language. I remember them saying over and over that Brett would have wanted us to move on, which seems really strange to me because that seems like the kind of thing that you say to a kid when a goldfish dies,
There was unpack that euphemism because Brett would have wanted us to move on. Really? You got a chance to ask him that? You want to move on.
Yeah.
Caring adults, because you're uncomfortable with this and you want us to scoot along through this so we can get back to algebra or whatever we're doing.
But yeah, it just seemed like such a small, careless, flat thing to say about someone. And the message to me, whether or not I could articulate it at the time, is that it's abnormal to be hung up on this. The correct thing to do is to just spend a day thinking about it and then move on. I think that grief should just be allowed to be experienced in any way that feels right for the person, even if that means you don't call it grief. I didn't call really what my experience was grief for a long time. I called it obsession. It's okay if you're hung up on things, that I don't think you're alone. And I think my experience of talking to hundreds of people in this last 10 years is that this is a thing that a lot of people experience and have unanswered questions about that just linger with them on and on and on forever, and that they're hung up on. And I think that that's okay.